Hey, everybody, and welcome to today's broadcast and tech talk on Appcelerator Preview. I am Bert Granchis, and with me today is Scott Davenport, who's our VP of Services and Products here at Appcelerator. So, Scott, say hi.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everybody.
Great. And today we're going to be talking about App Preview. And App Preview is a new product that we're offering for our customers, which is designed to help streamline the distribution and testing of your applications amongst a small team. So, Scott, you want to tell us a little bit about how we came to develop App Preview and what that means for Appcelerator?
Yeah, certainly. So as everyone knows, the platform is really focused on the entire life cycle of a mobile application. So everything from your development of that application using our Titanium SDK to how you run analytics on those applications, detect crashes, testing, our cloud services, all those types of things are really built around making sure the entire lifecycle management process is as simple and seamless as possible for you. So as a part of that promise, we look at something like App Preview as a key part of that strategy. To date, we've given you great ways to go in and test your applications on devices, on simulators, to be able to run those locally so that you can understand how it works from a development perspective. But there's been this gap that's been left recently with some of the acquisitions of companies like TestFlight as well as Hockey App, which left a bit of a hole. These provided you the ability to distribute your beta applications for user acceptance and test and things like that to your users prior to going to public production with that in an app store. What App Preview gives you the ability to do is really fill that hole. So now you'll have the ability to generate your IPAs, your APK files from within Appcelerator Studio as you develop your application, bring those into the App Preview tool, which Bert will show you in a little bit, and distribute those to your users for testing purposes. So this really goes toward the whole story around the platform and the things that we're looking to do from a product perspective to make sure that you can do everything that you need from within the Appcelerator platform. One of the really cool things about the App Preview product is we work really closely with one of our community members, Jeff Bonds at Geeks Incorporated, who's provided an application for some time since these acquisitions occurred, as he saw the need there as well. It was great to be able to bring in one of our community members and help us to make this a reality. It's in our labs today, which is really exciting for us, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But the labs project is really big from a product perspective, and App Preview gives us the ability to bring those to you very quickly, working closely with our community and other partners, as well as things that we develop on our own. So very, very excited to be able to show this to you today and to give you some more information about it here. So, awesome. Yeah, so the next question, kind of who has access to it. At the moment, as I mentioned, it's in labs, and anyone with a platform login has access to this technology right now. Bert will walk you through the process of going into labs and taking a look at how you get access to it. But if you have a login, you can go in and check it out today and start to distribute applications right away. So really excited about doing that. As we look at going forward, how we're going to handle this as things graduate out of labs, in particular App Preview, we're going to include them in certain levels of our plan. So App Preview, the plan today is to include it in team and above, but to give access to everyone through a purchase mechanism. So we'll continue to bring out more information about that and let you know how that's proceeding. But our plan is to get this in everyone's hands as soon as possible from a general availability perspective. But make sure that those that have purchased the premium plans from us have access to this right away and exactly what they've already purchased from us. So you'll have the opportunity to purchase additional apps. You'll have the opportunity to purchase additional devices as you need. But out of the gate, you have one app, 1 to 3 devices. And as we go GA again, we'll announce additional pricing and opportunities around that particular offering. So Bert, I'll turn it back over to you to talk about maybe some of the capabilities here.
Yeah, and thanks, Scott. I mean, it sounds awesome, and I know we have a lot of folks that are really excited about it because, as you mentioned, when TestFlight got bought, that really, created a big gap in terms of your ability to distribute cross-platform applications across your testing teams and to get access to that. As we look at this today in terms of, the process, what we're going to be walking through in the demo, when we look at app preview, there's some aspects of that that really touch a lot of the different parts of our platform. For starters, you're building and packaging your applications in Appcelerator Studio or from our CLI. And so we'll walk through just a quick tutorial on how to do that. We're not going to actually go through a deep dive on it, but show you just the basics of building an application in Appcelerator Studio for ad hoc distribution on iOS. When it comes to Android, it's a much simpler process. You can just build a distribution package. We're also going to see how you can access App Preview, and we're going to do this through Appcelerator Labs. So we'll showcase that website as well as how you can get direct access to App Preview. You can see that we have a link here for appbeta.appcelerator.com, and that'll take you directly to App Preview. You can also get to it through Labs. And then we'll upload an app and kind of walk through the process of what it's like to go through this environment. When it comes to distribution, you can also see how you can manage your test team directly through the platform. So this is something that makes it really super simple to invite new people to test your applications for you. One of the other nice things about this application is that it really simplifies the complexity around managing provisioning profiles for iTunes if you're building for iOS. Now with Android, you don't have this problem. You can point to a link and do a direct download onto your Android device. However, with iTunes, there's this whole concept of you have a development certificate, you have a development provisioning profile. That with ad hoc distribution or for testing purposes, you only have a limited amount of testers that you can invite, up to 100 testers. And for each one of those, you have to get their device ID. Well, and then once you get the device ID, you have to build another provisioning profile, and you have to re-sign the application. That's a really bulky process to have to follow. And with App Preview, this dramatically simplifies that. Simply input your iTunes credentials, as we'll see, and it'll manage all of the provisioning profiles for you, meaning that if a new tester comes and registers, once the tester's device ID is captured from their phone, it'll automatically go out and update the provisioning profile on Apple's servers with that device ID, re-sign your application with the mobile provisioning profile, and distribute that out to the customer in real time. So you don't ever have to worry about that yourself. So that's a huge benefit to this particular process for iOS. And then easy access, just once you get the invite for the mobile application on your phone, you can simply open that up and download the app right away, and we'll see what that looks like. So let's go ahead and get started with the demo then. And as I mentioned, we're going to do this by accessing Appcelerator Labs, and in just a second. But first, we're going to take a look at Studio. So let me hide PowerPoint here. And here I have Appcelerator Studio opened up to the employee directory project. So this is something I was able to import very readily from our dashboard. Just going to employee directory and clicking on the import project. And to build and distribute test applications in Studio, first of all, I'm going to click on this Run dropdown, and I'm going to select Package. And this is going to change my options here, and I can package for the Android App Store. So if I was building an Android package, I would certainly leverage this. But for iOS, if you're building for ad hoc or an enterprise distribution, you have to have a special profile for that you get from Apple or developer.apple.com. And they can walk you through there on the instructions on how to create a mobile provisioning profile. But I'll select Ad Hoc Enterprise here and then hit the Run button. This is going to open up our distribution dialog, and it'll ask you to fill in some of these fields, such as the provisioning profile you want to use, the distribution certificate that aligns with that, and of course, where you want to build that application. Once you have all of this filled in, go ahead and hit Publish. And this is going to build out an IPA application that's designed for testing on mobile devices, in this case, iOS devices. Pretty easy process to follow. The distribution certificates for Android, very similar process. You do have to go and get register a distribution certificate for that, but all of that can be done through Google's website. And then once you have those certificates, Appcelerator Studio manages those for you once they're installed on your system. So it makes it pretty easy to do this. You can certainly build distribution-based builds and package builds directly from the CLI, if that's how you prefer. And our documentation at docs.appcelerator.com has all of that information readily available for you. So once you've built your mobile application, how do we get access to App Preview? So I go ahead and just increase the size here. So with App Preview, you can get access to that directly through appbeta.appcelerator.com, or you can simply go to labs.appcelerator.com and click on App Preview. This is going to provide you some basic information about what App Preview is. There's a demonstration video here as well that you can check out. And then you have a button on the right to view the website. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. This has opened up App Preview, and it's associated with my organization. So I think that this is something that's important, is that if you belong to multiple organizations, the current organization that you're logged in as is the one that you're going to be inserting your applications into. You can always switch or log into a different organization, and then those applications will be associated with that organization. So again, it's about security of the applications and making sure that only the right people get access to those applications once they're uploaded. Now, in this case, we haven't uploaded any apps yet, so I'll go ahead and open up Finder here and locate the directory application that I just recently built out. Now, I could say upload a new app and get started, so that's what I'm going to do here. And I can either browse for a file by opening up the selector, or if you have it already open, you can just drag and drop that right onto the screen. From here, I'll add some release notes. And just say my first directory application for Appcelerator, and we'll hit upload. It's going to upload it and do some back-end processing there for us. The necessary tie-ins for the app preview from a testing perspective and what have you. And it's going to go right into inviting and creating your test team. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and add Scott as a tester. And then I'll also add myself here. And then write them a personal message, tell them a little bit about the application and what you're looking for. Now, for iOS builds, as I talked about before, you can auto provision devices. Again, what this means is I don't have to go in and request the UDID of Scott's device and then go and make a change to my profile, provisioning profile, and then rebuild my application and upload a new version. That's a lot of work just to get somebody's a new tester involved. So if I enter in my Appcelerator password, or my actually my Apple username and password here, what's going to happen is it's going to associate this account with iTunes, and it will manage all the capturing of the UDID of the device down to creating new provisioning profile and re-signing the application for me. That's a lot of work that's being done under the covers. For this particular example, I'm going to bypass that, and we'll just say upload builds when testers register this device, or I can just skip this for now. You can always come back and change this in the settings later. So now I'm going to go ahead and invite and finish. And when that happens, we're going to see that each one of us is emailed a new email, or we receive an email that provides us instructions on how to get access to this application. So with that, we can easily access the application from your mobile device and get access to it immediately. We also have the capability of providing information about the application directly through the website as well. So we can come in here and provide more release notes. So if I wanted to go and edit the release notes or look at different builds that have been associated with this application, I can certainly do that. I can look at the build history and see just which versions have been uploaded, how many times they've been installed. So you have some great metrics that you can capture about this build. And then, of course, we can always come back here and update the settings. Now, we're going to see a little bit more option here in terms of what we have done with this application. So we have not just the Apple Developer Portal Sync capability, but we can also option for email. So how many times do I want to receive email notifications that somebody's actually downloaded this product? And so this is something that is very, very helpful, and you can take advantage of right away. So if you want to get it every time somebody emails you, you can do that. If you want to get access to a kind of a list of daily users, you can certainly do that as well. And if you're not interested on getting those updates, you can certainly do that as well. So if you want to manage this status on your own, you certainly have the capability to do that through a JSON API. This is actually pretty helpful if you're trying to create a dashboard around your applications and you want to manage that data that's coming through. This is it's a great way to kind of keep a status check on the current builds of your applications as they're represented here. So that's really all that's required for accessing the application and updating that through App Preview. Once you have that acceptance email, you can certainly access that directly from your mobile device and then do a simple install there. You'll be asked to install a provisioning profile for App Preview. But once you do that, it'll simply install the application directly to your mobile device, whether you're on iOS or on Android. And we're really looking forward to seeing how you can get access to that today and start to leverage this for yourselves and testing out the capabilities of Preview and providing your feedback on what you'd like to see. So Scott, I'll go ahead and turn it back to you if you want to talk a little bit more about Appcelerator Labs.
Yeah, so thanks, Bert. Thanks for the demo there. As you can see, this is a really integral part of, I think, the entire life cycle, as I mentioned. And certainly, if we think about Appcelerator Labs, and the reason we brought this to market now is to give access to things like App Preview. But you'll see there's a number of other things in Labs that you saw when Bert was on that page originally that we want to get more feedback from you guys as far as the applications that we're providing, the new capabilities we may be providing. Because it's a great place to get feedback and understand and gauge interest as we look at a product strategy and how we're going to deliver these types of things. Everything in Labs will graduate in its own time. I think what we're trying to do now is get things in there as quickly as possible and get that feedback from our community out there on how these things impact their work life cycles and things like that. And then as we go forward, we'll continue to look to add things to Labs as well as graduate things from Labs. So one of the things we're going to look to do with App Preview as we go through that process of improving it in this beta period, if you will, is we will be looking to do tighter integrations with Studio. So as Bert showed you, going in and packaging an app and getting the IPA and APK file and dragging and dropping it on the screen is a fairly easy process, but we want to make it even easier. So ideally, you go into Appcelerator Studio, you have a publish option to send it to App Preview automatically. And then once you do that and distribute it, incorporating some of the analytics that were mentioned in regards to the application to our dashboard. So continuing to try and promote the integration of these products to make your life easier from a development perspective, to continue to bring exciting new offerings to the market. And I think Appcelerator Labs gives us the ability to do that. So I really encourage you to go out there and try out App Preview for sure, but try out the other things as well. We'll continue to look at doing additional tech talks. We had, I think, one last week. We'll continue to do these after our 5.0 release to give you access to additional knowledge around what's going on at Appcelerator. So, we're really excited to have you guys here. Appreciate you taking the time with us today, and I'll turn it back over to Bert for any final comments here.
Yeah, no, thanks, Scott, and thanks again for bringing App Preview to our customers. I think it's going to be something that they're really going to be able to take advantage of to help make testing easier. Now, next week, stay tuned. We're going to be doing another tech talk. We're going to have Rick Blaylock talking about Query Builder. If you haven't had a chance to check out Query Builder, this is an awesome new analytics tool that we're making available through Appcelerator Labs. Again, you can just go to Labs, and click on Query Builder and hit View Website. But this allows you to do really deep introspection of your mobile applications, getting access to deep-level feature events that were previously not available to you from within the Appcelerator dashboard or even through our old community analytics portal. So this will give you a means of creating, dynamic event funnels, understanding cohort analytics and categorization of how people are utilizing your application, as well as robust queries for deep level introspection of how people are utilizing the applications once they're in production. So definitely something you're going to want to check out. Stay tuned. You can start playing around with it today through labs, and we'll have a much deeper introduction to Query Builder next week with Rick Blaylock. Until then, I'm Bert Branches with Appcelerator. Scott, it's been great having you here come and talk to us today. And take care, everybody. Code strong, and we'll look for you next week.
Thanks, everyone.